channel. So today we are talking about manifestation through the codes of this powerful card, which is the Wheel of Fortune. The codes of manifestation are actually hidden in here in this beautiful card in the Rider-Waite deck. Now, when I opened it up, for me, I was like literally blown away. So every time when I come to understanding of this card from perspective of manifestation, it just happens naturally. Now you would ask me, why would I listen to Yulia? So Yulia manifested many things in her life. So I was born in a very kind of like very faraway place from the westernized world. I was born in Siberia, and the best thing what I could hope for is just to stay there and live all my life there, being like in my small circle there, which is amazing. There is lots of beautiful things about Siberia, but I always wanted something more in life. I could never imagine that I would be traveling for 10 plus years in this life. Now, second thing which I manifested is my beautiful career pathway. I could never imagine that I would do what I am doing today, really changing lives of so many people. I had no even possibility to get that education. However, I received it by really applying the manifestation laws in a powerful, correct way. And how do? You do the right thing in the right timing. I also could never imagine that being grown in an abusive family, I could actually create a beautiful family myself. So today I am happily married for 10 plus years. And this is something what could never go in the possibility of my mental construct. So something to consider here, that if we do things right, in the right time in sequence, everything happens to be right. Okay, we can hope for many things. We can go from manifestation coach from one to another and hope for things, but if we don't do things right, nothing happens. All right. So when we grow actually any kind of plant, we need to do right thing at a time with a specific time in sequence. And this card reminds us about that. This card is all about doing the right thing in the right time, and then that is exactly when we get access to all the abundance flow, when we start manifesting things in a proper way. It's only when we don't see things correctly, it feels like being stuck. It feels like we are always having some kind of obstacles, and it feels like a misfortune. Does it remind you something? So in this case, let's look very distinctively at the codes hidden in this card. So code number 1. This beautiful Sphinx is the only being who is sitting in a very peaceful and calm way. All the rest are on the periphery, reading something, not owning their attention. They don't see anything, they read some books. This one sits peacefully. Okay, so that's very important to have this as a code, that peaceful state. You will ask me, Yulia, how can it be today to be in a peaceful state when everything around you is swirling? Everything is so confusing and it's one big chaos. Well, there are practices to do it, but the code for manifestation is that concentrated utter peace, when you are capable to direct all your attention, all your words, all your physicality in one direction, releasing all the doubts in the direction which you are going. And that code is clearly shown here. Now we get also access to understanding why he's sitting that way. He's sitting on the circle. He is not sitting somewhere in between. He is overlooking everything. So the circle, it's like that karma circle. It's the cause and effect. Cause and effect. So we must strive to go beyond cause and effect, that logical perspective which we have in our minds, right? So everything what happened before, it created that mental construct based on which we live today. And that's why it's so hard to get out of that circle. However, this being was capable to get out of that circle. Do you see? So that's the code number 2, going beyond the cause and effect circle. And guess what's next? Going beyond the circle of timing. Very important. It is not defined by the timing. Do you remember how many times here we are in the rush mode? We are rushing things. And I am seeing it as a perpetual vicious cycle here, because many go into that perspective. Hey, I am willing to do it faster. And that's exactly where anxiety steps into the game. And when we are in the anxious space, we cannot truly see. We get bothered now by reading our own book of creation, like all these beings around. And that's what's happening truly. If we know about that, we start seeing the solutions. So solution number 1, and that is the code derived from the deep esoteric meaning of this card. Go and step in outside the cause and effect will. Cause and effect, let me give you the example. Let's say, Yulia, me, I was born in a very abusive family. If I would be defined by everything what happened there, and that was kind of like unfair, right? So I was like a sponge in my childhood, taking everything from my family. And there were lots of disruptive patterns there, very destructive ones. I would never, in this case, have even possibility, if I would be stuck there, to really create a beautiful, happy union, a bond with my husband. And we are happily married for 10 plus years already. So I had to go beyond that cause and effect cycle in me. And I saw this code specifically in this card. So as you can see, it's not truly something happening out of the blue. You have to have that understanding, awareness that you can go beyond what happened before you. Yes, there will be work which you will have to do. By the way, guys, I will answer all your questions. So you can type them here. I can see that you started typing something. So if you have any questions, I will answer everything in the end of this reading for sure, one by one. So just making sure that we are good in here. I received multiple feedbacks here that kind of like it's somehow disruptive when I'm doing the readings and I'm answering questions on the spot. If something is quick, hello, Sumarjit. So I will answer immediately, but if it is like something like a free reading request, I can do it in the end of the session here today. So please, patience if you stay live up to the end of the session. All right, so let's continue. So we are talking about this cause and effect cycle, and I give you a specific example how by striving to get out of this cause and effect, you give yourself already the possibility, the opportunity to really start manifesting things on a new level. Because if it is cause and effect, then you are inside this cycle. There is no even possibility for you guys to get beyond that, and it feels like, ugh, you cannot go beyond that pressure because you're literally in the prison of that cause and effect. By the way, in the Matrix movie, I don't remember, was it Matrix Reloaded or Matrix Revolution? But there was that devil there, or like the representation of Mr. Smith. And he was talking about that cause and effect. He was obsessed about it to keep everyone in Matrix. And I paid attention to it. You can rewatch it. True story. So cause and effect is a really that type of constraint which holds us here. Let's say you've done something in the past and you cannot forgive yourself for that. And then what's happening? You keep running in that circle again and again and again. And guess what's happening next? You judge yourself. You start judging others for the same thing. And this is really non-stop in circle. It's happening, it's happening, it's happening. There is nothing what you already can do about it, because it starts densifying your reality and holding you here in this matrix. Now, there must be that kind of like awareness within. I can go outside of that circle. No matter what I had done, I am willing to forgive myself. To forgive myself, and also I am willing to forgive others. You know, many things had happened to us, so many betrayals, whatever, to our hearts here. But if we are not willing to forgive what is happening in the end, we are densifying ourselves in the matrix. It's getting heavier and heavier. My mom could not forgive my biological father for more than 30 plus years. Up to now, she just is not forgiving him. And do you know how much density she's experiencing? To hold inside you the pain is actually creating that poison within your own system and densifying it, because there is that continuous judgment and judgment and judgment. We stop seeing the reality, the possibilities, and the resources. And this is happening because of that interesting circle. And that is the circle of karma. Karma, and this is cause and effect. Cause and effect. And this actually, cause and effect, is strongly related also to timing perspective. Do you see how many circles are in here? So timing actually is densifying us even more when we don't really trust the divine plan for us. So trusting divine plan for us, no matter what happens here, is an important element. Because once we actually start trusting the divine plan, we step beyond the anxiety. We can look at the situation peacefully. Yes, not everything happens immediately well. Do you know that not even one single plan happens here tremendously beautiful? You create that planning to actually measure your progress here and to really improve your level of the game. So when you understand the purpose of the plan which you create here, you stop being attached to the results of the plan, because every time you create the plan, it only helps you to measure where you are and course correct. You stop perceiving failures as failures. They do not define you anymore. You become like that powerful sphinx sitting here and observing the reality from that concentrated, peaceful perspective. You know, one time I was trying to play chess, and I'm not wired for playing chess, but my husband is playing chess. But I love observing this game, amazing game. And actually life is like playing chess. And this game was invented in India. Those guys in India, they invent everything so amazingly well. So just so wise, such a wise game. So playing chess, you can win only by having that auto concentration on the board. And playing the board, not the person in front of you, not the person which is inside you. If you are defined by your previous failures, you cannot win the game. If you are defined by the person playing in front of you, you cannot win the game. However, if you play the board and the situation on the board being in the present moment with that concentrated auto piece in you, you become a grandmaster. Okay, so it's true story. I was reading a wonderful book by Garry Kasparov. It's one of the grandmasters in the chess game. And he was like writing that book. I don't remember how it's called, but it was like playing the chess as playing the game of life, something that way. And there are so many beautiful life lessons there, which you can derive for yourself, for life. So it's not about the chess game there, what he's describing. It is about how to derive lessons from chessboard to the game of life. Amazing book. I would recommend it to absolutely everything here. So let's summarize it for you guys. What are these laws of manifestation? Number one, being in that concentrated peace. This concentrated peace is supported by stepping outside, number two, the circle of cause and effect. When we stop blaming ourselves, oh, I've done this, now is this happening? So we stop living in that mental construct of cause and effect. I am a failure. I am not whole. The world is broken. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? If the world is broken, why do you even wake up? Okay? If I don't want to wake up, why do you even doing something? Right? But if we are here, there is a reason for that. And you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Now, and number three, we step out of the circle of timing. We step out of it, and that's why we are sitting in that level of concentrated peace, being driven by these two understandings, these two laws. We can step out of the cause and effect by forgiving ourselves. That's the solution. And we can step out from the circle of timing by developing that trust within us. If we develop that trust, we actually develop that connectedness through us, through our seventh chakra, to the universal flow of information, which has the right code. And the right code is the following: everything happens here in the right time for you. If you are trying to rush the time, you are not sitting peacefully here, right? Because you become too involved in reading your story of life, like these beautiful souls here. They read their book. You see how everyone is reading their own book in here. They are too involved into that reading and not seeing what is in front of them in this present moment. How is that? So, three wonderful realizations which I delivered to you today. If you have any questions, you can ask me here. Now, I will give you the bonus understanding of this card, and I will show you the different interpretation of this card from another deck. So this is basically pretty much the same representation as in here. Now, I want you to pay attention to that feeling of this card. Do you see how this being is sitting here peacefully, right? So when you are sitting peacefully, seeing what's in front of you, right, on the circle, being beyond it, actually, not in there, without reading any book of life, the book of life by the cause and effect, like cause and effect, you are out of it. That's what is a book. You are not in the story anymore. You are beyond story. You start acting, just seeing what's in front of you. When you see what's in front of you, you are no more reading the story which was created before. You start really responding in a righteous way for this particular situation. How is that? The whole world here is wired around those stories and opinions. You go beyond that opinionship by looking at the present moment and the freshness of this present moment, just like this Sphinx sitting here. The freshness of that. You stop being affected by the opium like the drug, not being the drug addict of the opinionship. Even the whole word opinion and opium, they have the same root. So you just want to see that and continuously strive to forgive yourself for whatever has been done before, even if you don't remember that. That's why there is lots and lots of possibilities here to start manifesting things in this life beyond your imagination in the moment you forgave yourself, because you literally give away that story. to cosmos and let it handle. I am not willing to live in that story anymore. And that powerful code is actually shown in this card. Okay? Now, if we are not willing to do it, what's happening? We start feeling stuck. We start feeling stuck, and then what's happening? The same thing. You see, like bloody battle begins. Bloody battle be inside us. Okay? Inside there is that, but I just don't know why I don't like that person. Or I just cannot forgive him. I cannot forgive myself. Or I'm feeling like a failure and all this nonsense here. Okay, and that feels like stuck, confusion. That's why we go actually to lots of soul searching therapies right here. We go to that seeking mode. There is nothing already to search for if you found your concentrated peace and you see situation as it is. Imagine if you do things right thing in the right time and you just respond in the correct way for every situation happening to you here. You will become like that sphinx, sitting here peacefully. You will not be bothered by these ups and downs. That detachment from the results and trust to the divine plan for you creates that wonderful, concentrated, peaceful state within you. If you hear what I am talking right now and you start bringing it to your awareness continuously and working with this card, just looking at its powerful symbolism, there are no limits to how much you can create in this life. All right? So that's a very important thing to understand. Now, another bonus which I want to give you here is that when you really reconnect to who you truly are and you apply the laws of manifestations which I mentioned to you, which is going beyond the cycle of cause and effect, going beyond the cycle of rushing things and sitting peacefully, being driven by these two, what's happening in reality afterwards, you go into that moment of utter present observation. You really become that attentive, highly developed attentive being. And if you are observing reality correctly and seeing reality as it is without being opinionated, which is coming from the childhood or all the previous events happening in your life, what's happening is you see correctly the situation, you can respond correctly, and naturally you start serving the world properly. You start doing things in a way which just feel right. They just feel right. And guess what? I remember how I read a very powerful book. It was like the Indian scriptures, and the sages there, they were just asking continuously the question to themselves, what do I need to do to serve this person? What do I need to do right to serve this situation? What do I need to do to actually respond correctly to this situation? They are out of that circle of desires. They just want to do things right, being driven by that righteous serving perspective. And in the end, you really truly feel that when we serve the world, we serve ourselves, we stay into that righteous cycle. There is the card, which is a really powerful card, which is coming together with the Wheel of Fortune. If you work together with them, it's just amazing what you can do. It's the card Temperance. I'm just willing to find it. And that card, Temperance, actually is strongly related in its energy to the Empress as well, because all of them are sitting in a peaceful state. And they all just first go to that inner peace, seeing beyond seen. They just are willing to trust the Mother Nature. This Empress, she's trusting the Mother Nature. She's trusting the divine plan for her. That's where she's getting all her power. Do you see what's happening? So just have these in mind. That's what will create the empowerment here in your solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus chakra is being developed very powerfully when you work with this card of Wheel of Fortune, and when you start understanding those three powerful signs of manifestation. These signs are the codes which you derive from it. So for those of you who just watch me right now, just scroll back to this video. I mentioned those signs already, so you can learn about them through that. Now, if you love what I deliver, subscribe to my channel. I'm going live every day. If you have any kind of questions, type me here. I will answer everything. I also devote some time for free readings in the end of each reading. So if you want, you can just type the request here. If there are no requests, I will finish already this session. So I will wait for a second while I am delivering the last message for this card, just telling you which kind of crystal you can use for working with it. The powerful crystal is amethyst. Amethyst allows you to see situation clearly. So when you work with it, and every time when you want to manifest something, take amethyst. It's an amazing crystal for that, especially when you work with the full moon. Okay, so I don't see questions here at this moment. So anyway, if you want something afterwards, something pops up, type it in here and I will be serving you in that direction. Thank you so much, beautiful souls. Wishing you a lovely day.